Gemini, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, you have my love. I appreciate you so very much. I know you have a lot of choices in tarot. I'm just stoked that you chose Steampunk. Stoked that you chose roses. Okay, I'm going to keep it. Why not? All right. Anyway, we're going to see what's going to shake loose, okay? Like I said, sometimes these cards, they line up. Sometimes they don't. Don't hate the reader. I'm just going to try to give as many explanations of the cards that I can. If you're brand new to the channel or just cross-watching for your particular sign, I'm JT. Do keep in mind that I always put haiku poems right before your reading starts, okay? All right, I'll give you the down low and we'll shuffle up and talk about these categories. Gemini, I wish for you health, wealth, peace, stability, kindness, mercy, strength, compassion. I wish for you in this reading that your destiny becomes a little more clear, that the universe makes very clear the signs for you to interpret. I wish for you love in your relationships or those that are coming into your life. I wish for you that the people around you begin to understand who you are, that all the synchronicities line up for you, okay? We're going to talk about your current energy. We're going to talk about your crossing challenge. We're going to talk about your foundation. Talk about the recent past. Talk about the possibilities, the near future, the self, the environment, hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, and the outcome and the direction. Okay, Gemini, give me just a minute to look over these cards, and while I'm doing that, I have your brand new poems from Haiku Corner. I'll be right back. Okay, Gemini, I took a look at the cards. For some of you, this may resonate with last week's reading. Fate is rearranging everything for you. I'll leave that link at the end of this video if you want to check that out. For others, this may just be like a standalone reading, but I kind of felt like the energy kind of walked back in. So anyway, if you're down for it, we're going to talk about it. All right, we've got the reading starting off with this present energy, okay? This high priestess, okay? And so I feel like this is your intuition, you know, ahead of a physical timeline here. Like I said, some of you, I don't know, it's like this spread kind of feels like, you know, a door opened back up here, okay? Um, I feel like you may recognize a continuation here immediately when I start to open this reading up. But it's like you're sensing emotional movement here, okay, before it shows up in the 3D. For some of you, you're going to resonate maybe with twin flame or maybe with a high soulmate connection here. I'm not sure how that applies for you, but just take what resonates. But this is definitely thinking about each other, you know, before someone reaches out. You know, you're sensing, you know, a masculine in this energy, maybe pulling away from a third party. It doesn't have to apply, but it could be, you know. This is definitely someone watching your stuff, you know, from some kind of a hidden account or I don't know, dreaming about someone, you know, right before they message you, you know. This has got jealousy involved here, someone who hasn't really spoken it yet, okay? For some of you, this could like the intuition showing like a career shift or something like that, you know. Sensing like money or luck approaching, but you're definitely in this high intuition type state. Um, I don't know. Someone's comparing you maybe to somebody else. It does have both masculine and feminine energy here. Okay, it's the masculine would have that, maybe that observing or calculating kind of energy, and the feminine energy here is like, intuitive and very receptive, something like that. We're going to talk about this challenge card. Okay, we got this Knight of Cups. This is someone wanting to come forward. This has got definitely vulnerability involved with it here. Okay. Once again, I'm going to tell you this. Yep, take it with a grain of glitter. I mean all of this with love. Okay, it's like, this is emotional. It's sincere. It's romance, but it's got the hesitant in here. Okay. I'm typing out a message. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to repeat it over and over again. It's just intimidation. Maybe it's intimidated by your confidence or your person's confidence, something like that. But I feel like I'm afraid to move on this, right? I want to apologize, but I don't know how. I fear maybe you're going to ask about a third party or a situation or something like that. They want to ask you out maybe, but it might be like too soon or something. I don't know. It's just I'm afraid maybe you're going to see how much they really care here. And so it has that, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be, I don't want to show so much consistency that you think I'm, being, I don't know, like freaky or something like that, So it's definitely got masculine and feminine energy here. The masculine is the hesitant lover, right? It's, the feminine energy is that intuitive type receiver. For some of you, you might resonate with the spirit animal, like the blue jay, something like that. It's got like that, wanting to come forward, but definitely fearing, vulnerability here or something like that. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on now. We're going to talk about this foundation. We got the Justice card. For some of you, you could have Libra, in your energy here. It doesn't have to be, but you could be dealing with Libra in the timeline here. This is balance, being restored. Okay. Kind of like that karmic correction. For some of you, you may resonate with that, but it's, it's the justice over, the breadcrumbing, feeling that loss. For some of you, like I said earlier, maybe that third party going to be removed out of your situation. Third party doesn't have to be people in general, you know what I'm saying? But it could be like situations, external situations that are, just causing conflict or, just kind of keeping you in limbo here, right? So that third party situation could be being removed. We could also be talking about like some legal matters here that are going to resolve maybe in your favor, that type of energy. But for some of you, you might resonate with the Justice card as being like a contract or something like that, a new job offer that's going to come through, or maybe like money that's been owed to you may come back to you, right? This could be like, somebody admitting that they were wrong about something, this is clarity about somebody's intentions, though. That's the kind of like the underlying theme, right? It's the clarity. Masculine energy in this is accountability, and the feminine is definitely like receiving fairness, So I feel like this is, like the weather changing dramatically here. Okay. We're going to talk about the recent past. And we got this Four of Swords energy. This is pulling back, this is a rest. It's, the pause before this revealing, right? Someone went silent to think, okay? It's pulling back your energy, for protection purposes, okay? And like I said, there could be a family dynamic or something, or, a community group, friend group, third party situation, something, but you needed space, or your person needed space, to end something. The feminine maybe needed clarity. Stop chasing, stop pretending. I just feel like there's definitely this rest from emotional burnout. You know what I'm saying? It's healing from like disappointments and things. And this could be even this could apply to like the situation that's not even your person, like we all have a tendency sometimes to want to point fingers and say, hey, it's this particular reason. But I feel like what this represents is really just that pulling back on yourself and saying, I'm going to take responsibility for the way I feel about things here. I'm not over giving to anybody else anymore, and It's kind of like, I'm just going to wait for the truth to surface here without having to force anything or push anything, right? So it's really focused on, just basically something else entirely other than the situations, right? All right, we're going to talk about this possibilities card, 7 of Wands. This is, I don't know, it's holding your ground, right? Someone is feeling the shift in this, okay? It's all about self-worth here. I'm non-negotiable, right? I'm not accepting any more mixed signals, or this could look like that person stepping up. The masculine realizing that they can't breadcrumb anymore. You could be the masculine in this situation. Like I said, sometimes we have a tendency to want to point our fingers and not really look at what kind of energy that we are in. You know what I'm saying? We have a balance of both the feminine and the masculine energy. And it's really too easy to always say, well, it's that person, and I try to stay in my feminine energy most of the time, because I feel like that is really the energy that takes accountability, for our own feelings. So it could look like the feminine, stops apologizing for having needs, you know. This is blocking or muting someone maybe that's drained you. It could look like, the chasing and you stop chasing and then, I don't know, someone else starts pursuing. So there is that push, pull, retreat kind of energy as well. Like I said, if we were talking about last week's, it could be a high powered soulmate. It has that, or twin flame type energy. You might resonate with that. All right. But this is, I refuse to be a secret or an option. You know what I mean? So just kind of take into consideration where your energy is lying in that, stand up for yourself, at work, get your recognition, that kind of thing. It's protecting peace, and definitely attracting better opportunities because you do so. So the masculine energy would look like, realizing that they have to rise, and the feminine is just holding the line, with grace. It does have that warrior energy, right? So anyway, some of this could have been a little bit in the recent past. Some of this timing involved here could have taken place like during a holiday or a family gathering or something like that, there could have been some kind of specifics in that that somebody here might recognize, okay? All right, we're going to take a look at the near future. Gemini, we got the Queen of Pentacles here, you got receipts, okay? You're stepping into a grounded, this is self-worth, this is abundance. At least you're recognizing what you require, this is a raise, or maybe for some of you who are side hustling, things like that, maybe a new client or something like that's going to, rise up in in the possibility section here, right? It's attracting someone maybe who definitely sees your value here, okay? Could be somebody you work around or something like that. This is the feminine becoming way more confident, investing in yourself. For some of you, it could look like, just simple things like upgrading your wardrobe, or, maybe you're refurbishing the house, or, something like that, For others, it could look like maybe, I don't know, receiving like a gift or money, or, maybe some kind of an inheritance or something like that coming in. But this is definitely, I don't know, this is unexpected validation here. It's feeling emotionally secure, or at least trying, not the fake it till you make it kind, actually really just um, feeling it in the, in the stability area, okay? So we do have a grounded magnetic kind of energy here. For some of you, this may resonate with around like a 3 to 6 week time period here. There may be something, some significant date here that you've been really kind of focusing on that's coming up, that's really kind of helping you stay in that emotionally grounded situation. It could be like a trip, or, or taking some kind of an adventure of some kind, a planned meeting or a gathering or something. So, all right, we're going to look at the self. We got the Chariot. All right, we are definitely talking about a Cancer type energy here, not necessarily the sign. This is taking control, of the reins of your life. Okay, this is maybe for the first time for you, or for some of you, right? It's, I am attracting now. It could talk about moving or travel or shifting environments. Like I said, there's definitely something in that 3 to 6 week period that I was picking up on. But I'm thinking like, this is taking a risk, that pays off. Okay. Choosing yourself, you're setting boundaries, perhaps some of you are going to go ahead and, take that leap, pursue that dream, so this has definitely got that gaining confidence here, okay? It does have both masculine and feminine energy. So the masculine energy would be like the pursuer, going after. It has that, um, like I said, really, really taking the risk and just going for it, and the feminine energy is like, I'm unstoppable, okay? Enough said on that, but I'm saying definitely, definitely movement taking place here, okay? All right, in the environment, we have the Three of Wands energy here. We could be talking about fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius here. We don't have to be, but we could be. But this is about maybe someone's waiting for the right moment, to act, okay? And I'm getting the feeling, like I said, if this is that extension into that last reading, it's definitely, maybe you're watching their social media. Maybe you're waiting for a sign, waiting for that third party to exit out permanently, or they're waiting for the right timing. They're waiting for the courage. It does have a mirroring kind of image, or mirroring kind of effect here. But it's definitely, once again, movement. We move from the Chariot right straight into the next card of the Three of Wands. You're taking action now. This is the moment of reach out. Um, it's waiting for fate to align, waiting for your ship to come in, the kind of the generic term, but definitely it's got that planning and it's got receiving, both masculine and feminine energy here. So just take what resonates with you. For some of you, you could be having deja vu about this time, okay? All right. Now we're going to talk about the hopes, fears, wishes, and worries. And we've got this Page of Swords, okay? This is someone watching you, definitely, okay? It could be you, So once again, yep, we're going to have to talk about this, all right? This might poke an old bruise, but I'm going to go slow with it. It's important, okay? It's like, yep, somebody is definitely checking out somebody's profile daily, every time they post. They watch what you're doing online. They're not reacting, to things. They're not interacting. It's stalking your likes and comments. They want to compare themselves to, the people you're following here. This is like, I want to know who they're talking to. What kind of people do they like? What kind of, maybe they're jealous, but they're hiding it, This is afraid to message first, maybe they're waiting for you to post something out again, they're rereading old messages, just trying to figure out, do you still care? It does have both, masculine and feminine energy in this. It's like masculine would be that silent watcher, and the feminine has that intuitive awareness. We did start off right with the high priestess. So for both of you, it could be a mirroring effect here taking place. Okay. Now the outcome in the direction, we've got the King of Cups. This is the heart flutters every time I see you. This is I want to open up and say exactly how I feel, but I'm emotionally grounded here, but I'm just afraid. It's someone admitting that they care, right? A masculine that opens up emotionally, the feminine receiving, the emotional clarity on a situation, a confession. This could look like that relationship that's finally going to deepen. This is the somebody that's choosing you here. You know what I mean? So it's got emotional readiness involved here. And I feel like it's when you're focused on something else entirely, this situation is going to, unfold, right? So Gemini, it's kind of like a continuation. Maybe you didn't know that you were waiting for here. Last week had kind of that, fate rearranging things behind the scenes. And, this week it's like the emotional truth. It's kind of like surfacing again. And so this is you stepping into clarity. The emotional maturity. I feel like I said, it's both within yourself and from someone who's definitely been holding back. They're watching, they're waiting, and this could be you, or this could be your person or whatever. But I feel like there's definitely some kind of a confession that's been building in the background here, and so the high priestess says, you already feel it. Perhaps both of you feel it, and so it's just all about the timing, right? It's the next chapter. It's the reveal. So I feel like everything that shifted, last week might make a little bit more sense here. So anyway, Gemini, I love the reading. It does have kind of on a hold pattern. We could be talking about that Four of Pentacles there, but which was not in the spread. I'm just saying, the energy of that Four of Pentacles. I'm holding on. I'm holding on. I'm holding on. I'm waiting. I'm patiently waiting, letting timing, unfold. And that's the case sometimes. We have to. If we force things, you know what it's like. It's It's kind of like pushing a penny down a sidewalk. Anyway, so I love you, Gemini. I appreciate you. I hope you got something from it, clarity, confirmation, for others. So if you did, give it a thumbs up, would you? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscription button. I'll leave the video link to last week at the end of this video. Anyway, I love you. I respect you, Gemini, and I hope to get to see you on the next readings. All right. Bye-bye.